Thank God it's Friday,
Yes, it is.
6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It's November 10th. What's up?
Yeah, the 10th of November, as you said. It's it's a nice morning. How has it been for you so far, Jamster?
Well, rain.
Mhm.
Well, the rain actually woke me up this morning. I mean, we
Uh-huh.
had so much rain. I think it was just before 6, maybe about probably 20 minutes to 6. A lot of rain. It was so much
Yeah.
rain, it woke me up. I was like, wow.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, the rain at least. Not. I don't know if you wanted to be woken up at that time.
No, I went back to sleep.
Okay.
But, I mean, we can. My thing is,
Mhm.
I've been telling people, you can't complain about. At this point,
Mhm.
at this point in our existence, we can't complain about rain, no matter what.
Exactly.
Don't complain.
Exactly. In fact, let me first say good morning to everybody. I'm hoping and praying that you're having a wonderful day this morning thus far. I also trust that you'll have a beautiful day today and that you'll have a wonderful weekend. In fact, as you talk about the rain, Jamster, I was looking at an article and it says the last 12 months on Earth were the hottest. S- So I was reading an article and it says that the last 12 months on Earth were the hottest ever recorded analysis find. So it says that the last 12 months were the hottest the last 12 months were the hottest Earth has ever recorded, according to a report by Climate Central, a non-profit science research group. The peer-reviewed report says burning gasoline, coal, natural gas, and other fossil fuels that release planet-warming gases like carbon dioxide and other human activities caused the unnatural warming from November 2022 to October 2023. So, over the course of the year, 7.3 billion people, or 90% of humanity, endured at least 10 days of high temperatures that were made at least 3 times more likely because of climate change. So it says people know that things are weird, but they don't they don't necessarily know why it's weird. This is a quote I'm reading, by the way. It says that they don't connect back to the fact that we're still burning coal, oil, and natural gas. And that was a quote by a scientist, a climate scientist at the Climate Central. And he goes on to say that I think the thing that really came screaming out of the data this year was nobody's safe. Everybody is experiencing unusual climate-driven heat at some point during the year. He also says the average global temperature was 1.3 degrees Celsius, higher than the pre-industrial climate, which scientists say is close to limit countries agreed not is close to the limit countries agreed not to go over in the Paris Agreement. And so it goes on to say the impacts were apparent as 1 of 4 humans, or 1.9 billion people, suffered from dangerous heat waves. So it says at this point, said Jason Shermdon, a climate scientist at Columbia University, no one should be caught off guard. It's like being on an escalator and being surprised that you're going up, he said. We know that things are getting warmer. This has been predicted for decades. Here's how a few regions were affected by the extreme heat. So it says extreme heat fueled destructive rainfall because the warmer atmosphere holds more water vapor, which lets storms release more precipitation. So it says Storm Daniel became Africa's deadliest storm with an estimated death toll that ranges between 4,000 and 11,000 according to officials and aid agencies. It says in India, 1.2 billion people, or 80% of the population, experience at least 30 days of elevated temperatures made at least 3 times more likely by climate change. Talk about the drought in the Brazil Amazon region caused rivers to dry to historic lows, cutting people off from food and fresh water. At least 383 people died in the U.S. extreme weather events, with 93 deaths related to wildfire. And it says that the deadliest U.S. fire in the century happened during this period. So basically, and here it has something with Jamaica on average. Jamaica experienced high temperatures made 4 times more likely by climate change during the last 12 months, making the country where climate change was the most powerful at work. So we have been joined by Michelina Mills, and we also have we've been here talking about the extreme temperatures. We started with the rain, and then Jamsa was talking about we should be appreciative, and then I stumbled upon an article not too long ago which spoke about this period being one of the hottest recorded on Earth. And so this article goes on to give and to support that by giving examples as well in which ways in which persons have been affected.
I do agree. It's been really, really hot yesterday. I was in like a crowded meeting room, and this might be too much for you guys, but like water just started dripping from under my skirt because the place was just so hot. It was like, you profusely sweating all over me. It was just sweating. So the place has been really hot. I'm grateful, like Jamster, for the rain. Shout out to all of the landscapers who are making an extra $1. No, they're definitely making an extra $1 because the grass is growing faster, more rigorously. So to the landscapers and the landscaping company and trucking and everybody who has to deal in that sort of sector and economy, kudos to you. I hope you don't have to work harder for the same amount of money. Please explain to your employer the degree of difficulty. You see them grass, Azard? The degree of difficulty for work has become more.
Never get salty when fresh water is coming down. That's what I say.
I see the words in there. Fresh water, not salt, because not salt water, it's fresh water.
No, salty. Don't get upset.
No, that I mean, don't get upset. But the
the
fresh
play on
water,
words,
the play on words. Oh, I was thinking it from a scientific.
You're sharper than I thought.
I think I need an award.
There you go. Let's give Azard the award. We're going to give him a clap.
Thank you so much. So, who do I dedicate my winnings to? Who do I show appreciation to?
Do you have like a charity that you support?
I'll let you know off here about
the charities?
Yes.
And where the winnings could go?
Yes.
Okay, so I think it's
Is Pam the charity?
I didn't want to say it. I was going to say the People's Action Movement, constituency number 4.
Pretty close to charity right now, as far as I'm concerned.
I think you're shading the political party.
I am.
I just catched that.
I am.
Anyways.
The captain. Yeah.
Azad and I think it's a Nevis. Like most hosts, we had quite a rigorous prep session this morning. Normally I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to write every morning. And so he sent me some messages, and I feel he thought I was delinquent not messaging him back because, my messages weren't going and I was writing. And, so I was brazen enough to call him, before 6 o'clock this morning?
A little after 6.
A little after 6. And we were talking about, so you have 2 young, smart, bright people talking about all of these things, and we back and forth, and Azard, you can't say that, as Michelina, yes, and, so we were going at it very heavy this morning, and congratulations for doing that. I think that is necessary, and the prep time to be here, don't underestimate it.
Yeah.
So what's the next topic?
So that, as we discussed, Guyana has now, based on their president, they have for graduate teachers, Guyana has let me look at the article. It says Guyanese president announces higher salaries for graduate teachers. So that was 20 hours ago, and it says the Guyanese president. Oh,
bachelor's degree from the University of Guyana, a degree awarding institution under the Gold Program, or a degree certified by the National Equivalency Board shall be moved to the maximum of the scale, applicable to the posts they currently occupy. This will benefit over 4,000 teachers at an additional annual cost of $1 billion, effective from 1st of December 2023. Additionally, teachers will receive an education allowance of $10,000 monthly
Hallelujah.
for holders of a bachelor's degree. This allowance would be equivalent to $120,000 annually.
so that was the article. In fact, it is one of those loop articles when you open, the video starts playing automatically. And so what you're hearing there, and again, we know that the currency in Guyana is different to the currency here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So 10,000 Guyanese dollars would be much different would not be 10,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. But what we're seeing is that in Guyana, graduate teachers are now going to receive higher wages based on, or higher salary, let me say salary, based on what we have seen there. And it says that the president noted the government is implementing the adjustment, which represents a 10 to 17% increase on the current minimum salary paid to teachers after meeting with the trade unions across Guyana. Goes on to say, teachers working in Guyana's vast hinterland areas will have their remote areas incentive adjusted to $20,000 monthly effective December 1st, 2023. Over 2,400 teachers are expected to benefit from the increase, which carries an additional annual cost of $260 million. So based on these and what is here in the article, what we can take away is that as a foundation is that the increase to teachers represent a 10 to 17% increase on the current minimum salary paid to teachers.
I think it represents more than just a money figure, because as the president of Guyana was speaking, he vaguely mentioned after conversations with the trade unions across Guyana, and trade unions, teachers' unions, are responsible for creating with government institutions collective bargaining agreement. And collective bargaining agreement means you're going to the employer on behalf of the employee and you are lobbying in their interests. And so trade unions throughout the region, throughout the world for teachers has been a pillar of strength. I don't think the Guyanese government would have gotten up and advocated or supported or done for the betterment of teachers without the presence of a union. So kudos to the teachers' unions and the trades and labor unions in Guyana for advocating for teachers. It also signifies a level of respect. Money, worth, is equivalent to respect in the market. And you said something very important. You said 10,000 Guyanese dollars is not equivalent to 10,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. And inflation right now is a global thing. Everybody is experiencing inflation. But Guyana is a producer. And so the cost of living in Guyana is not the same as the cost of living in St. Kitts, because they make stuff.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
There is no boat coming from nowhere, from Guyana, from Dominica or St. Vincent to feed Guyanese. They would light it a fire. And so the culture of production and ownership and economics, yes, the country has to be developed and they have a lot of developmental issues and a lot of Guyanese migrate. Please don't come for me, I just speak in the reality. But the ability to use that $10,000 is a lot more than it would be to use it in St. Kitts. And the president also went on to say, those teachers who are teaching in the interior, so it's almost as if to say that they're going to get a travel allowance, an education allowance, etc. And that is a real thing for teachers. You have teachers who are living in Bastille, who has to work at the Sadler's Secondary or the Sadler's High or the St. Paul's Primary, and you don't get a travel allowance. Are you allowed a travel allowance? We don't know, because those things are not communicated to us. So though the conversation or the briefing from the president was very short, it was quite informative, quite informative. And you know, the last time I was here, we were talking about transfers and, you know, how the Ministry of Education uses transfers as a means to punish teachers. I was told by Guyanese teachers that the education union, the teachers' union in Guyana is so strong that you dare not. You dare not interfere with a teacher like that to try to transfer. I'm not saying transfer is not permitted, but it's definitely less weaponized. So
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying that if the transfer should not be used as a weapon against someone, it should be just the process, the gradual process.
It should be amicable between parties. Or at least if it can't be amicable, respectful. A lot of things happen here in the with the Ministry of Education and education on a whole that is completely disrespectful to the teacher. And I'm speaking from my personal experience. Completely disrespectful. And of course, I got my transfer, but Azard, I tell her I was going to get it, you know. I tell her I was going to get it.
You got go up mouth.
Hello, I got the transfer. And out of covering and grace, I will not read it. Just because if you all read the letter, the nonsense. The absolute nonsense. But there is an allegation of raising the board stipend at NHC that we were debating, and I want to talk about that. Notice we say an allegation because the government has not made a public and proper statement, nor has NHC made a public and proper statement.
And this is the thing that, you know, we were in discussion with this morning as it relates to that.
Rigorous discussion, eh?
So we have seen information being circulated allegedly that the NHC board directors have increased payments, the monthly payments over 200, well, equivalent to 200% by 200%.
So it went from what? Let's make the people understand.
Based on the article that was circulated or produced, and you know, it's from Times Caribbean. And so we know how persons, you know, some persons view the articles from Times Caribbean.
Through a very political lens, they're anti-labor, they're just there to bring down labor. But it's information, and that is why we are saying allegedly. And in the absence of a statement from the government or the NHC body itself, it's still relevant information to discuss.
So we don't know whether or not it is true on the basis that it has not come from a government entity. But this is what we're saying. And usually sometimes when you throw things out there and you do your background check, you realize that the information is true.
But we still have to say allegedly.
Yes, of course, allegedly. So we are not making any aspersions. We're making the point that there has been talk or rumors or the view, because we have not seen it from any government body. In fact, in a relation to the UN ambassador as well, we have not seen any official statement of any replacement, but we have seen articles that say that there is a new person in the position. And so there is this constant publication by other
Through the grapevine, which
by
is
other
not,
media other than that of the government when it is sensitive, or I'd say when it appears to be sensitive public information. Because if that is true, then something of that nature, I think a statutory body making that move, because when you saw it happen with National Bank, because it happened with National Bank as well, but you saw, from my recollection, we would have seen information about the increase in the monthly stipend from the National Bank directors during the time of Team Unity as well.
You said something, or we said rather, there was a 200% increase. I want people to understand what the 200% increase means.
Well, based on the article that I read, and the article that I sent you, it said from 1,000 per month to 3,000 per month.
So it is alleged that these board holders are making $3,000 a month. And let's say a majority of them are already employed.
They said that, well, based on the article, it would mean that they have an increase for the monthly allowance, stipend, whatever you call it.
Help me do the maths. So from 100, it went to what? 1,000 to?
Based on the article,
3,000?
3,000.
Okay. So you have persons who are already employed, serving, appointed by a minister, receiving $3,000 to carry out a public service.
If that is true.
If it is true, allegedly.
Yeah.
$3,000. I remember when you sent me the article, me study, I just was like, because in my spirit, I say it cannot be true. I hope it is not true that sitting on a board of this organization that has a very complex and interesting history in relationship to their deliverables should not be used to generate another steady income. And as a teacher, we have teachers in the system for years working hard. And I know a board is extra duties. There is no school in St. Kitts and Nevis, especially the high schools in particular, that when you pass across it 6 o'clock, all the classrooms close and all the teachers gone home. We are constantly working. And why I didn't study you is that to get $3,000 to sit on a board,
If
it is true, and a number of teachers are not carrying home a single salary of $3,000. Teachers. I'm sure there are lots of other professionals, but educators are not carrying home $3,000. I said, fix it, Lord. I hope it's not true, because the minimum wage has not been rectified and the minimum wage has not been fixed. So we have persons like my aunt and, a number of family members who are working, have children to support actively in school, working for how much money? How much is minimum wage? $400?
So I think $360 a week.
Oh, Lord. $360 a week. That which benefits a majority of the population for the good that we can do has not been rectified. It has not been delivered. The inflation rate in St. Kitts and Nevis. I can't even go grocery anymore. I just go buy a little bit of things.
The last time I bought a Pine Hill, it was for $8.95.
Remember when it was $4?
I said to myself, a box, a Pine Hill, was it? I think Pine Hill, yeah, almost $10 now. Yeah, you did, and Sadie now is for something.
It's really, really hard, and the minimum wage has not been rectified. For that not to have been rectified, and officers are increasing their pay, well, I just hope it's not true. I
Yeah.
hope it's an
Well-
allegation and that it is
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah, so again, the information didn't come from our official government body or even source of NHC. I mean, it came out last night. We don't know whether or not it's true. We don't know. But this conversation is basically to look at the St. Kitts and Nevis and to see, where our priorities lie in terms of just the other. I think maybe when the government had its 1 year anniversary, there was talk about the 85% increase in government minister's salary and MP salary and those kind of things. And then just to see these kind of things come out, true or not, it just brings you back to the mindset that is a top increase, bottom nothing.
Oh, that's nice. Top
Yeah.
increase, bottom nothing.
So, again, I don't know, because it seems like when it comes to certain information, we don't
Public information.
certain public information we're not privy to. We're not privy to something that would make it seem, if you think that the public would question it, we're not going to put out that public information.
Not just question it, I think if we know that the public or a fraction of the public is going to be displeased, it's not the questioning. We are a mature society. We are able thinking people. We are supposed to have difference of opinions and constructive disagreement. But I think in this Gravaquap time where I met a mommy today holding her child who told me it's been years since she's been working. So I think the public would not be pleased, and maybe because we know the public would not be pleased, we don't share public information. But we were going down this train of thought, and I challenged Azard to tell me one good thing about the administration, because we will not be seen as voices that are prejudicial and anti-government. So Azard is going to tell me one good thing, or I should see his face. So I could see Azard's face. Azard is like, Michelina, leave me. One good thing about that, in the 14 months, you have seen this administration done. You have benefited from, the country has benefited from.
I think student loan, and we had a student, we had Keandra Weeks here, a past student of mine, and he spoke about, and the question was asked by Kortensia about student loans. And, not just with him, but other students who go to school, when it comes to student loans have been a blessing and a curse at the same time, because you receive monies, but then the interest on return is relatively high. It was at 9%, I know. After some time, the team Unity would have put it to 6%, but that wasn't across the board for persons who had already received 9%. So the 5% to all persons.
The one good thing, Azad, you have to say like the full sentence. The one good thing this administration has done.
One of the good things that this administration has done is the 5% throughout for student loans. I think that is a positive, because it helps to cushion the load that returning nationals after studying would have as a result of these student loans that we take and now would have to pay back. So the 5% from where it was before, especially going back to persons who currently have loans, and not just new loans, but persons who currently have loans. I think that was a step in the right direction. What about you?
One good thing that I find this government has done, this administration, please feel free to tell me 3 things they have done on the wall. In terms of education,
the next thing.
wait, let me give me one good thing now, ding, and say you get 2 and me get none. I think giving the teachers the laptops, I think that is a good thing. It definitely needs improving because I put on my name on the list and me getting a lap. I was told, well, you can't get none because you have one and the one that I have working. So the process is to ensure that the resource ends up in the hands of the teachers that need one. Needs a little bit of tweaking, but giving teachers resources like laptops, I'm all for it. It puts .com into education and it connects education to technology so we could build on platforms like e-learning, etc. Brilliant.
It's wonderful. So on that note, we're going to take a short break.
When we come back here and tell us the next one.
So she put me on the spot this morning, but it's all good. It's all good.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Get ready for a week of innovation, inspiration, and endless opportunities. The Ministry of Small Business and Entrepreneurship proudly presents Global Entrepreneurship Week 2023 from November 13th to 17th. Mark your calendars. On November 13th, we kick off with a minister's address at 9 a.m., setting the stage for an extraordinary week ahead. But that's just the beginning. At 10 a.m., don't miss the Creative Currency panel discussion, live streamed. We're diving into entrepreneurial endeavors in music and entertainment. It's your backstage pass to the world of entertainment and entrepreneurship. November 14th brings a highlight you won't want to miss. The GEW Entrepreneurship Summit at the Kuna Conference Center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. featuring our renowned keynote speaker, Mr. Wendell Lawrence. We're not just focusing on the present, we're nurturing the future of entrepreneurship. On November 15th, we're launching the primary school essay competition. Young minds, it's your turn to shine. On November 16th, join us from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for a community business meeting in Sandy Point. It's your chance to make your voice heard and connect with fellow entrepreneurs. And finally, on November 17th, the week culminates with the Small Business Showcase Trade Fair in Independence Square from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Discover innovative small businesses and energy sector partners. Join us in building businesses that fuel innovation. Entrepreneurs thrive here. Save the dates, mark your calendars, and be part of this exciting week. Stay connected with us on our social media platforms for updates and live stream links.
The St. Christopher Children's Home 12th Annual Family Walk Run is back. Join us on Saturday, November 18th at the Royal St. Kitts Golf Club for an afternoon of fun and fitness. The event kicks off at 3 p.m. with registration and warm-up. Adults $50, children 6 and over $25. Paid tickets include a popular event shirt and barbecue lunch served by the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. Tickets available at Harper's Office Depot, Four Ways Restaurant and Bar in the Circus, Royal Beach Casino, and online at events.jad.cash. Complimentary transportation provided from the Sands Complex and the fire station every 30 minutes beginning at 2:30 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. We'll see you at the St. Christopher Children's Home 12th Annual Family Walk Run.
Here are your Horseman's Value Mart IGA specials.
Running November 2nd to November 15th.
The more you shop, the more you save.
In November, get double points on dairy and frozen items.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Mayonnaise, $17.99. Arm & Hammer Liquid Detergent, $34.99. IGA Margarine, $23.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $10.99. Blue Bunny Ice Cream, $22.99. Pringles chips, just $9.99. And now, our very low weekly
Value deals. Gatorade's $4.49. Dunkin' Cake Mixes, $6.99. Arm & Hammer Toothpaste, $14.99. Central's Vitamins, $44.99. Malto-Meal Bagged Cereals, $12.99. Minute Maid Punches, $8.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart, and get double points for more rewards today.
Continuamos en el mes de noviembre con los puntos dobles y las recompensas. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Welcome back. Welcome back, St. Kitts and Nevis, and thank you for tuning in to Win FM 98.9. In studio on Island T, you have Michelina Charles Hazel, MCH, Michelina Mills, according to Azard. That's my name too. I own all of it.
Yes, I still sometimes.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's my favorite name. It's the favorite version of my name, Michelina Mills. It's my favorite.
Because I've known you from since high
Yeah,
school.
before I had the fancy.
Yeah, the MCH.
Yes. So we were on a roll of searching very easily to find among the open discussions and criticism of the administration and acknowledgement of the good that they've been doing. And while we were off air, we said CFBC is free.
Yeah, CFPC is free, which I think that's a positive because persons now have the opportunity, not that they don't, not that they didn't have before, because I think to some extent, you had the safe, where persons who couldn't afford, I think they were given some sort of allowance that would go towards their schooling and expenses. So
And there's the Taiwanese scholarship. There are a number of scholarships you can
Yeah.
get once you enroll.
or in CFPC? Okay. But now, well, at least now it's all across the board that, free access. So
And the nurses who are doing the BEd is free.
Is it?
Yeah, the nurses who are doing the bachelor's in nursing is free, as well as I think you can do UE first year there for free if you are signed up to go to St. Augustine after, and there's a list of programs. So making tertiary education free. I think the nurses and the teachers still have to pay costs to the university, so it's not absolutely free. The education pursuit up there is not absolutely free, but where the government is accountable for most of it. So I think it's not free. I think free is not honest, but it's cheaper and a lot more accessible.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys want to take this call?
Let's take a call.
844. You're on the air. Island T. Hello, caller.
Hello, good
Hi.
day.
Hi.
Hey, good day. Mr.
Yes,
McMahon.
there are quite a number of things that, we can say that the government got right, that they've done. I mean, the reset, independence reset stuff, the dividend stuff, and so on, right? But a general comment, I don't think anyone should be apologetic about saying things that did not go right or have not yet gone right. Okay? As Michelino in particular, you know that as a teacher, you concentrate on what the student got wrong so that they can improve. You know, what they got right, well, they got right. They know this stuff. Okay? But the things that they got wrong need to be, I think, certainly be taken care of, pointed out, and, make suggestions so that the student can improve. And so don't apologize.
Don't soften up on them.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Right?
I
Because
got
you
permission.
want accountability. You want things to be done correctly. And you don't want complacency to set in. The thing that you started off this morning with the board thing, we're not sure that it's right. It's correct information, first of all. So maybe we really shouldn't comment on it yet until there's an official release. But as a matter of policy, anywhere you have a government, a public department that can basically increase their own remuneration, whether it be in parliament or a board or whatever else, you got to be extremely careful. And there should be some check and balance against arbitrarily just increasing stuff like that. Just as a general policy.
But do you think it's arbitrary, though? Don't you think they believe that they're putting in hard hours, great work, and so, allegedly, if it is raised, that is the merit in which they say, well, pay me more because you're showing up.
But
the minimum wage worker can't
organization
say
you
the
have
same
people
thing.
who don't think they're putting in the work. We know that in some places, some people don't put in the work. But as a rule, as a general rule, everybody feels that they work hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And the difference here is that
they can
in an
pay
organization, you're actually responsible to somebody, whether the supervisor or the manager, to show that you've worked hard. There are appraisal systems and those kinds of things. But where you have a system where you both can just get up and increase their thing with no
sort of accountability,
and just like that, and is accountable to nobody, you know, but the board. So all of them could just get together in a nice little group and increase the rate. I would be surprised if that's how it works, but if that's the way it works, that's not the way it should work. Okay? Somebody with the purse strings need to, you know.
Accountability and transparency.
Yeah,
so I don't mind you raise the salary or the...
Make them explain why...
It's public information, public money.
And as you point out, people are struggling, okay? You can't have... It's like being tone deaf to the struggles of...
the ordinary man.
People. Yeah, the ordinary man, if you want to call it that. You know? Where you have people who are already, as you pointed out, probably they're employed somewhere else or, you know.
A majority of
not
them.
scrunting, you know, and can just do this with public money because that's the bottom line, eh? It's public money. It's not your own personal business that, you know, you are getting in revenues and can do what you like with.
It's my money.
Public money.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as we said before, these are public bodies. They are carrying out a public duty. They are carrying out work for the public. And so the public should be aware about whatever matters of such significance, you know, matters of such significance, the public should be aware. And the thing about it too, Mr. McMahon, we see it over and over. Why is it that when government is government is public, why is it that so much information seems to be private?
Exactly. Exactly. And you have to wonder whether that happens because deep down there's a conscience and they feel better not.
I don't think it's conscience. I think there is an awareness of how the public would respond to it. You know, if you raise a board fee or stipend by 200% and you decide to give people $3,000 extra when teachers ain't making $3,000 as a salary, people can vex.
Yeah,
and so you
course.
keep them
And
information
I like
to
your
yourself.
suggestion. I mean, you mentioned about doing things. What you said about, for instance, a traveling allowance for teachers
in
who,
Guyana.
that makes so much sense. I don't think it's going to break the bank. As a matter of fact, I know I've been in private companies that do that so that they don't, whatever wages they pay to their workers, it's not, they essentially add on the travel allowance depending on where they're from so that the transportation does not come into it. I mean, something as simple as that, you know, I'm sure would be welcomed by
teachers. Let me just put on the record. In the Ministry of Education, those at the top of the hierarchy receive travel allowance. It's not that they're not receiving travel allowance. It's that the teachers who are the force, the engine of education at the bottom, we don't receive traveling allowance.
Right, those are the ones who
we need the traveling allowance because we make a smaller salary. But we don't get it. So traveling allowance in the Ministry of Education is something that is done. But it is done for who?
Well, there is that caveat to that. I think you have to own a vehicle or something like that.
Lord, you just see me walk, no? I could pay bus, I still get in there. I still have to pay.
Right. Exactly. I'm saying that should not be a factor in making sure that the teachers at least are not disadvantaged by having to work somewhere far. you know. But you know, good, some nice topics there that I think you all really need to delve into because, I mean, this secrecy in government continues.
Yeah, and
to be quite honest, I don't understand it because usually it will get out anyway. Okay, so you might as well get ahead of the game and do whatever damage control you think you need to do in advance as opposed to after the fact. And secondly, if you came in promising transparency and openness, this is not the way to do it.
Exactly.
Right?
And
it should be seen. I saw a picture of, I saw a posting of the governor of Grenada. Hello?
Oh. Hey,
Hello?
Mr. McMahon. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
Yeah,
McMahon.
I saw a picture of the government of Grenada publishing their CBI stats, you know, down to how much, I think they're supposed to make on track to make $1 billion this year alone from it. You know, all those things, the number of applications, everything, right? So why can't we do that? What's in necessary?
And this is why...
The disadvantage...
So, Mr. McMahon...
Mr. McMahon and
Before you
Azard,
go,
let me defend my good comrade leader, okay? He said he waiting on an audit. And if you need an audit to be done to speak with a matter of authority, let's wait on the audit. I think what is responsible is to give him a time for the audit. But if he say he waiting on an audit, I think it is fair.
Michelino, this has been how many months now that he's been asked that question. And apart from that, I don't think anybody is asking for the exact, precise figure. We want an idea of how the program is doing, how many new citizens, those kinds of things. And I'm sure that information is easily had.
I think it's responsible of us then to
Reporters have been
continue
asking these questions.
So, we have Mr. McMahon, we have a caller too. It's a conference.
then.
So, no, don't go.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Mr.
yeah, don't go.
Don't go, Mr. McMahon.
go-
We're doing a conference.
Yeah, don't go. Good morning. Don't go. Good morning, man. Good morning to everybody, man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is a soft discussion, but it's a great discussion. The government of the day, they need not get complacent because, you know, the makeup of the you know, they got 6 seats. If they lose 1 seat, then, you know, we're talking about a whole different scenario in St. Kitts and Nevis. The team unity, there might be a unity arrangement again coming back. But anyway, man, it's a lot of talking points, you know, about the Bastille High School. I wanted to, like, put something out there or say something. I don't know, it might be a little silly or whatever, but
No, go
we know
ahead.
St. Kitts and Nevis is only but so big, right? Instead of having this debate back and forth about this Bastille High School saga, right? Why can't they move on the outskirts of Bastille and find some land on the outskirts and the suburbs of Bastille? I mean, who knows, man? I mean, if you got to go down to Sandy Point and build a brand new high school down in Sandy Point, I mean, I know the lady was talking about Guyana and teachers are going all into the interior to teach. I mean, St. Kitts is just only but so big. Why don't we just find the land somewhere and build a state-of-the-art school somewhere? It doesn't have to be in Bastille. And then if we're going to change the name of the school or whatever, so be it. But we just bust the students to school and have the teachers, you know, commute to their jobs. And whether they're gonna come up with what the lady was talking about,
An allowance,
stipend,
yeah,
an allowance for them to travel, right? And then kill this whole Bastille High School saga. You know what I'm saying? Like, transporting the children into school and stuff like that might create jobs. Like, you know, you're going to need bus drivers. You're going to need some crossing guards. You know what I'm saying? You might have to open up some roads. You know, you might have to put some stoplights in to monitor the traffic and stuff like that. But, I mean, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. You know what I'm saying?
It's a brilliant contribution. Thank you.
The government of the day now, we can't allow them to get complacent. Yes, they have done a lot of good stuff, But remember now, you can do 100 good things for people, but that one time when you don't do good, you know, they hold that shit against you. And the minimum wage is being dragged along. You know what I mean? The minimum wage is being dragged along. The government is operating reactionary. You know, they need to have that mouthpiece that's going to stay in front of the issues. You know what I mean? Be transparent. Keep that transparency coming. Because trust me, at the end of the day, the voters can hold that stuff against them. You know what I mean? When the next election comes up, if they lose one seat, that'll create a different scenario.
And Carla, before you go on, Michelina, she had me think about, you know, good things that would have been coming from this administration over the last months, over 14 months. And one thing I told her is that, yeah, there has been a lot of talk about things that are to be done. For example, when I look at the talk about the 2,400 homes. The 2,400 homes, yes, people need housing and those kind of things. So that's, you know, housing is a good initiative. But then when you look at it, where it is that it was said that there are going to be 2 model homes built within this year, and then afterwards 600 houses per year. You look at practicability, and you look at whether or not things are just being said because they sound nice, but are they really being planned out? Because up to this time, we in November, it's almost December, and I do not know that there is one model home that has been built.
They started. I saw photos actually of the one over Connery, I think it was.
Okay. So
right. That might spark another debate, though. I noticed the technology that they're using. Some people may argue that, well, we're not accustomed to walls that thin, even if it's reinforced concrete. But you know that's for another discussion. But that is going ahead. The model home seems to be progressing. Okay. But what the caller said about the school. All right. I maintain that unless that school is in some way cleared for building a new school, it should not be done. We can't afford to put millions of dollars down on a site, and the site itself is still controversial. Okay.
And I love that you said that, Mr. McMahon. Not that your scientists can come from wherever they come from and you decide that you're going to build it there because you want to build it there. Controversy comes at a cost. And when you decide from your authority to impose and neglect the disruption, it always, not sometimes, it always leads to dissent. You're putting millions and billions of dollars at risk because as a leader, you have to listen. You don't have to like it.
Yes.
But your only role is as a steward. You can't use your authority to do what you feel. You are a steward.
You're accountable to somebody.
You are accountable to people. And if people are saying a thing, you don't have to like a thing, but your responsibility is to listen and to serve. And so you go and you do it.
Dismiss it. That's the thing. There's a tendency to just dismiss. I'm not saying that
you don't have to agree, but you are a steward.
At some point, you also have to make a decision. But what I'm saying is no point just pretending to listen and then go full speed ahead with whatever.
You have to build consensus.
Yes, exactly.
Build consensus. A leader is responsible.
Especially something like this, where people gonna occupy. You know, you definitely have to do it. And with regards to building outside of Bastille, I think yes, but it should be a college, a new state-of-the-art college, and not a school. Leave the Bastille High School. Use the existing college as a Bastille High School. It's an upgrade from,
That's a good idea.
from what was anyway. Okay,
That's
and we don't
idea.
want to get into
That's
this
a good
habit.
idea. Azard, me, you going to do that? That's a brilliant idea, Mr. McMahon. Use CFBC as Bastia High School and build a college somewhere else. That's a
Right,
brilliant
because
idea.
the whole country can benefit from a state-of-the-art college. And
And
it
then-
doesn't have to be, it's adult, so it doesn't have to be that close to the zone that it's supposed to, a school is supposed to operate in.
And then maybe we
Okay.
could negotiate a UE, like how Antigua just did. And it's still in Bastia. The college is still in Bastia. It's Central Bastia, the apex. So you could still call it Bastia High. It is not outside of the boundaries of Bastia, so the name doesn't have to be removed.
Well, I mean, I can tell you a story that I know firsthand about. I was at the college when senior UE people came down, and it was Dr. Douglas, who was the prime minister then. And he came, I think they were doing the level 1 or something like that courses, the introduction of it. And I remember him saying that his vision really was to have a campus of the university on St. Kitts. And the lecturer, the professor who came down said, good luck with that, because I know the politics involved in it.
Yeah, boy.
Well, Gaston Brown obviously pulled it off.
Yes, he did.
You know?
With some
And,
controversy, but he did.
Yeah, he did. He did. He pulled it off. There's an old campus of UE in
Antigua.
Antigua. Okay, and I'm saying that when we look at things like these, major projects like these, we should be looking years ahead. Okay, that college, a new college, could eventually be converted into a university or something. I mean, there's precedence for that. You know, there was. You take in Jamaica, right? Well, before UTech, University of Technology, there was a college in Jamaica. First.
UTT in
Okay.
Trinidad, University of Trinidad and Tobago.
The natural progression. That is how you have to look at things, not just for the next 5 years when election come. Well, we've got a new Bastia High School. That's what we promised. You know, you have to look further ahead. That vision have to be further ahead.
And I think
And
our leaders
like
have
I
to be,
said,
as you said.
Azard, Azard, did you go to Sandy Point High School?
I went to the Washington Archibald High School.
To Washington Archibald. Well, you may know, or you may not know, but one of the big fights in education for a long time was the fact that Bastia High School had the best and supposedly the best teachers, the best of everything. And so all the parents wanted their students, their children to go to that school. At one point, it was like that.
Oh.
You build a state-of-the-art high school,
And you carry it back to that.
you're going back to the same thing. Everybody wants to go to the school. The teacher, even the teachers are going to want to teach in that state-of-the-art high school. That high school is going to require much more maintenance and operation than the ones that we have now, which will pull resources from the other high schools, right? You don't want that, right? You build a state-of-the-art college that all the schools can feed into, the whole country can benefit from, okay? And upgrade all the high schools to at least pretty much the same level, okay? It's still an upgrade, okay? Right? And you don't have those kinds of issues to deal with because they're going to come back to haunt the ministry eventually. Okay?
Mr. McMahon, someone is on the line.
Yeah, okay then.
No, you can stay on. The caller can go ahead.
No. Yeah, hello. Yeah, good morning again. What
Yes.
happened? I got knocked off earlier, so I wanted to come back into the conversation.
Yes, no problem.
You know, he made some great points with the like upgrading the rest high schools. That's a definite, man. You know, like island wide, the children of island wide will have a higher level, a standard of, you know, the education level will be more level all around the island rather than just having that one state of the art in the capital town. You know, what happened to the children in the suburbs? You know what I mean? But you know, it's a lot of things to talk about, man. A lot. You know what I mean?
You know
Very
what
much,
I
a lot
want
of
to
stuff
talk
to talk
about
about.
and have a
The
whole
travel-
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The ministers. Okay, let me piggyback. Let me go back a little bit, right? You want to mention the good things that the government has done. Yeah, we know what they have done. You know what I mean? We've been keeping abreast. The electorates are getting smarter, and they're gonna hold these politicians accountable more and more as time goes on. But let me just put this out there: it doesn't seem like this government has gotten caught up with a scandal as such yet. I know that Carl on the other side, he might like to hear that. They haven't. To me, it doesn't seem like they have got caught up with any scandal just yet. But
when you say scandal,
Azard, let the man talk now.
No, when you say scandal, what you mean?
Big scandal.
The other caller on the other side, he can expand on that for me a little bit more. He knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Excellent one.
So there might not be a scandal that this government might have to deal with just yet. But the fact that the manifesto they put out and what they campaign for, those things, the electorates need to hold them accountable for those things. And those are those things that they're not doing is what I want to focus on. You know what I mean? And what the electorates is going to focus on, because remember what I'm saying is that they're not going to remember the good you do, but the one bad you don't do, they're going to keep that and hold that against you. You know what I mean? So the government of the day, they need to stay on that path, in order to be successful and to maybe get a second term. And that's where I'm pushing my narrative this morning. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
The electorate now is very unforgiving.
Very.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll be as prepared to just, take what's given to them without.
Okay, let me. I don't want to cut the caller off. I know he makes a lot of great points, but for me, I don't really think that I'm very much that articulate like him. Because these guys got a lot of experience, and they're underground and they're up to breast.
You're doing
me,
well.
I'm calling from the outside. I'm calling from the outside, and I'm trying to keep up with him. But the other thing that I wanted to mention, going down the line that I'm talking, is that I've heard some talk about whether or not they're going to push that double salary out coming up. Yes, they have reset they have put out the reset for independence. Yes, they have put out the concessions coming up for the season, but the electorates are looking for that double salary. That's already going to be a talking point in the next couple of weeks. And in my opinion, the government need to find a way to push that double salary out, because if they don't push that double salary out, trust me, those persons who have grown accustomed to getting that double salary, they're gonna hold this government accountable. Trust me on that. And that's most of my points this morning. You know what I mean? I keep listening off the air, and thanks to that other caller for staying on.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Can I go ahead?
Just one more point about that school, that school college versus college thing. One of the areas where developed countries have advanced far above us is in the area of tertiary education. More people, they have a much higher percentage of people who go to college. Okay, and that is one good way. It's as if in order to become developed, you must have, there's a correlation between the number of graduates
and
or
skilled
people in tertiary,
persons
who have had tertiary level education or training, and your development.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're going to move ahead, yes, I understand the sustainable agenda and so on, but if you're going to move ahead, you're going to have to increase the educational level of our citizens.
Yeah,
okay,
correct.
And a state-of-the-art college is more likely to do that than a state-of-the-art high school.
Mm-hmm. What I realize, one thing, while your idea is a good idea, I think this footprint, it's a great idea, but the footprint of Bryant College is too small for high school, for the full complement.
For high school, you said?
Well, for the Basta High School.
Can I just say something? Because that's where they transfer me to. Mr. McMahon, can I just say something? I think I got a little punishment for a transfer just now. Because my mouth too brazen. But I don't think.
Well, I don't have that to worry about, but you go ahead.
I don't think enough light is being shed on the condition of Bastia High School as it is now. When they transfer me there, I say, oh, Jesus, they didn't think about this one at all. The first day, I said they did not think this through to the end. Because the conditions at which those teachers and children are learning in, I said they did not think through this transfer, and every day I sit down and I write. I said, Jesus, fix it. Yes, we politicizing the grounds and how toxic and what Labour did and what PAM did and what PLP promised and they didn't deliver. But what is missing is the conditions that students are learning in now and teachers are it is not decent. And I want to know how they continue for so long and how we are not talking about that, the present condition of this school. St. Kitts and Nevis has worked for decades to get our country's infrastructure out of the chattel category. And the children learning in a chattel structure.
That's a good point. Minus all those medical problems.
Yeah, but
there is an issue with the school. Yes.
No, the conditions that they're being schooled in. But that's a next story to tell on the tongue another time. And I am just there like, wow, this is brilliant content. Nobody talking about this?
I remember when ICCS, we did the opening. We broadcast the opening in the morning. I remember me and Trent and GQ went over there in the morning just to look around.
Yeah.
And we were blown away. We were like, why couldn't we have a Bastia High School looking with our own lockers and each classroom has its own bathroom?
But not even that. Be a minimum. Be a minimum
exactly.
missing right now.
AC.
Be a minimum.
AC
is a bit pushing it. When I tell you be a minimum, and the staff at Bastia High School, they seem to be very... Them they need a Jesus medal.
She said AC is pushing it.
AC is pushing it in school. But the staff, they need a Jesus medal. Like all of them and the principal, they needs to be awarded national honors. Like legitimately for teaching in those conditions for so long. And I think it's a very important part of the narrative that is missing. The conditions under which they are being schooled. Like I sit down there and watch a little boy. Two little boys hide under the house because, chattel mean the thing up on us.
Yeah, not permanently affixed to the ground.
They're hiding under the house. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
Okay, guys, we're out of time for this segment.
But Michelino, that does not speak well of the teachers, in the sense that
you ain't gonna make me say that, You hear I said they deserve an award.
And not just the teachers, the parents as well, and the students. Why do they tolerate those conditions and have done so for so long?
I said they deserve an award for the great work they would have done under the circumstances. You just say you ain't got to worry about nothing, You want me tell you they send me saddlers next week?
Okay, guys, you're out of time. One thing I will say though, they are very environmentally responsible, inexpensive ways to deal with the cooling problem. We would rather than having the AC in the traditional sense. But yeah, because it's just getting hotter. You realize for the last 3 years,
it's getting hotter, man. Something is going on.
Yeah, AC is not the luxury it used to be 20 years ago. Okay, guys, we have to go to the break. 9:15.
Right,
yes.
Yeah. Right.
We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
This is your
Save the date, November 18th from 2 to 8 p.m. at Greenland's Pasture. The Tourism Fest is back. Join us on Tourism Boulevard and be entertained by all cultural acts and live performances by New Vibes International, Dijon, V13 Family, Akrayo Suite, and more. Enjoy a domino competition and live demonstration, all hosted by EK The Real Right. Explore our island romance, Flavor Mignon, Rum Spot, Sweet Blocks, Tours Galore, Sense and Sensibilities, Agri-Tourism Zone, and Kids Zone. This year's theme, Regenerative Tourism, investing in a world of recovery, venturing beyond sustainability. Don't miss it, November 18th, Greenland's Pasture, 2 to 8 p.m. Be a part of the adventure. The Tourism Fest, where culture, entertainment, and sustainability unite. See you there.
ready to witness the triumphant spirit of entrepreneurship where entrepreneurs don't just survive, they thrive. In the spirit of building businesses, fueling innovation, we've joined forces with the ministry responsible for energy for the second time to bring you the Small Biz Trade Fair Showcase. It's an event that epitomizes the Global Entrepreneurship Week theme, Entrepreneurs Thrive Here. This sensational event will electrify Independence Square on November 17th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But wait, there's more. The ministry with responsibility for energy will be on-site distributing energy-efficient LED bulbs while stocks last. The Small Biz Trade Fair Showcase, where innovation, creativity, and business excellence converge. Showcasing the essence of Entrepreneurs Thrive Here. See you there.
(9:17) and we've got the Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Small Business on deck. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Yes, so we're going to ask you to introduce yourselves and what you're here to speak about this morning so you can enlighten our listeners and viewers.
And small business people, your constituents.
Hi, good morning. Once again, my name is Mariah Constant. I am a business advisor for the Ministry of Small Business and Entrepreneurship, specifically the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC.
So you got like a big walk.
Big.
Medium walk?
It's a walk, but the bigness is in the entrepreneurs, not in me. So.
Oh, nice answer. I like that.
Yes, Delwayne Delaney, Senior Business Advisor, as well in the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Ministry. Yes. We're just here to speak about what is upcoming for Global Entrepreneurship Week. It's a week in November celebrated to highlight the achievements of small businesses globally. And this week we have coming up next week, we have a packed agenda that we'll go through and, inviting the general public to be a part of it as well.
Okay, so give us an idea or give us what we can look forward to during this week.
All right. So as my colleague mentioned, it's a very packed week.
Repeat the name of the week, the intent of the week for me.
So it's the Global Entrepreneurship Week. It's international. It's celebrated worldwide under the theme Entrepreneurs Thrive Here. So that is the theme that we're going with this year. So starting off the week, we're starting off strong with a speech given by the Honorable Minister Samal Duggins. That will be aired live at 9 a.m. on the cable channel 4. And it's just to set the tone for the week, talk about what to expect, what the entrepreneurs can expect, what the public can expect, and what entrepreneurship really is and why we're celebrating this week to begin with. So that is what we're starting off with. And then from there, also on Monday, we will also be having a panel discussion, which I'm very excited about. It's titled The Creative Currency. So it's done in collaboration with the Ministry of Creative Economy, the department. We're doing a collaboration with them.
What time will this be?
So the panel discussion will be from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. It will also be aired live on the cable channel 4. And some of the people you can expect at this panel discussion are Mr. Fonz Rodney, the Ambassador, DJ Terrell, Mr. Rukas, H.E., Mr. Brandon Cranston, Mr. Corey Tyson, and Ms. Jihan Williams Knight. So those are the panelists that we have for the Creative Currency panel discussion. The topic for that is entrepreneurial endeavors in music and entertainment, navigating challenges and opportunities. So that is setting up to be quite an exciting panel discussion just to get their insight on what it is to not just be a creative, but to be a creative entrepreneur. So we're very, very excited about that. So those are the two things that is happening on Monday. From there, we go over to Tuesday, in which we'll be having our Entrepreneurship Summit with the keynote speaker, Mr. Wendell Lawrence. That will be taking place at the Kuna Conference Center in Portland. And Mr. Lawrence is a former financial secretary for the Federation and one of the leading service providers in the CBI program. So we're very excited that he's taken this opportunity to give advice to small businesses and entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs on financial literacy and access to finance for small businesses. Being in the department, we know that finance is one of the hardest things that small businesses go through. And so we're really encouraging them to come out to the Kuna Conference Center from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Tuesday. So that is what we have. We're, once again, the keynote speaker is Mr. Wendell Lawrence. And then on Wednesday, we're taking entrepreneurship to the schools, in which we'll be having and launching our My Dream Business Essay Competition. So we are asking the schools, we've already reached out to the schools and asked that they get their students involved to write about what their dream business is, how they see themselves as an entrepreneur, even at such a small age. And we're really looking forward to the creativity and the fun that these students are going to bring in their essays. And so that is what we will be launching on the Wednesday for all the primary schools, specifically grades 4 to 6. So we're really looking forward to see what the young people come up with.
Yes. And to continue the week, and just to piggyback off my colleague, the creative, the panel discussion is also will be live on our social media platforms, Creative Economy social media platform, as well as the Small Business Development Center. Also, sign up is available via our platform for the summit. Already we just put out the call, placed the call out yesterday or day before yesterday, and we are about 60% filled as already. So time is of the essence if you want to be a part of the summit.
So tell us more about the summit.
Okay. The summit, basically, it will be live interaction with the keynote speaker. So although he's bringing pertinent information, also persons are expected to ask relevant questions, pick his brain, so to speak, on what it takes and how he was able to navigate and create such a business of himself. Also, we'll have other service providers there, so we expected JAD to be there, Dcash to be there, Development Bank as well to be there, to engage our participants at the end, to seek out new opportunities for their businesses, where they can take their businesses to that next level as it relates to digitalization as well. And so it is shaping up to be very interactive, something that the businesses can definitely tap into, going into what is termed as a peak season for small businesses in the December period, the carnival period, and going into 2024, of course. Okay. So continuing the week, we continue with our community business meetings. We have had, each month we have gone to different communities. Last month we were in St. Paul's. The month before we were in Old Road. The month before, I think, Keys. The month before we were in Newtown. And so we are now in Sandy Point. And although we were at the different community centers, this time out in Sandy Point, we'll be at the primary school. So the primary school, from 6 to 8 p.m., we're inviting not only persons within the Sandy Point community, but the surrounding communities. Because what we realized that because we can't touch at this point in time every community, neighboring communities have come out and be a part. Last time we were in St. Paul's, persons from Phillips's were there, persons from Sandy Point were there, Lambert's were there. And so we expect nothing but the same. And that is our business community meeting. Usually we have other stakeholders there, like the Inland Revenue Department, Social Security, Consumer Affairs, of course, our ministry, Dcash, and others to be a part of the discussion. Usually very engaging. Usually the participants and the attendees walk away with good food for thought in terms of the implementation of new practices in their business or businesses. We wrap up the week with a small business trade fair, and that is going to be in the Independence Square from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are doing that in collaboration with Energy, because this is Energy Month as well. And last year we would have collaborated with them, and not intentionally, we just happened to be in the square at the same time, ironically. But this time our intention is to partner, and we have had several meetings and interventions with each other to ensure that the smooth transition, or the smooth execution rather, of the trade fair. And what you can expect from our end, we have over 24 businesses already have signed up and locked in to be a part. We have persons who are in the services industry, the wax, the candle making, food and beverage, a whole host of businesses are going to be there this next Friday, as I said, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Live entertainment, giveaways is expected as well. On the energy side, of course, you have the LED bulbs. That is always a big attraction for the persons who are...
You need like 3 new bulbs.
You need 3 new bulbs, okay.
Yeah. 2 for the bedroom and then 1 for the living room.
Okay, got you.
So I'll come in.
All right, be there from 9 a.m. Of course, while stocks last.
So I'll come earlier, come in 8:30.
Right, you have to be there. And so other businesses and other stakeholders within the energy sector is going to be there. Courts and other bigger brands will be there, of course, highlighting what they do and how they can save energy on their appliances and that sort of thing. So it's shaping up again to be another packed day, as it relates from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Independence Square. So come on out, be a part, engage the small business owners, of course, patronize their stalls, and make it a great time on Friday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much. I have listened attentively. I like the fact that the thing with DJ Terror, you said it would be
the panel discussion
aired on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, that makes it accessible because the time in which it's going to happen is not accessible for persons. You know, I'm all about the teachers and the economy of education, the business of education is booming. You know, even the concept of extra classes and e-commerce and e-learning. The business of education is very much underrated. And because we are locked into schools for specific times, we don't get the opportunities to partner and develop in the capacity building training arena. And so as a teacher, I'm here to say thank you for making provisions for it to be accessible. We don't got no TV now. We are saying we ain't watching nothing no. But we could pick up our phones and we could participate in that discussion. I would like to hear for next year a little bit more of inclusion for the disability community because of physical or mental disability, they have to create economy that meets their needs. And there are economies of care that meets their needs. And as a society, holistically, we often forget them. Because if you work in a wheelchair, if you live in a wheelchair, it's hard for you to work for the cable.
Yeah.
It's hard for you to work for Skelec. It's hard for you to teach. And so the economy around your disability becomes a mountain. And so as a society and leaders in different sectors, when we are developing and creating, I really like to champion inclusion for these people because they're not these people, persons with different abilities, because we often neglect them. And from the energy, there's an economy around energy as well. The solar, clean energy, sustainability, all of that. And so next year in the preparation, as a teacher, I'm responsible for talking to my children about career development and options. You know, I have a child of mine who tells me she wants to be a security guard. And the first time she said, I wanted to climb up a mountain. I was like, you know, I was so frustrated. I tried to expose, I come back again. A few months I come back and I want to be a security guard. I was like, fix it, Jesus, fix it. I needed to go to get help, right? There are options for people to be and to become, but it's hard to be and to become these things when we don't see them. And there are things and people on the margins of our society, but they're not included because they're not included. So I would just like to see the creative economy, the small business, the entrepreneurs, you all are doing a fantastic job. The creation of the ministry, brilliant. Just open it a little bit more for me so that we could see and serve just a little bit more people.
We appreciate the feedback, and definitely something that we can look into whenever we have even the community business meetings or anything else that we have going on in the ministry. So
there is a youth advocate for disability. There is a representative of the St. Kitts Nevis Disabled Society. He's young. He's traveling this month for a conference to represent the country. I don't know if you guys could reach out to the disabled organization of St. Kitts and Nevis and probably invite him into the fall. I can't be an advocate there, but because he has the lived experience, he can bring a voice that speaks to his community and for his community.
That's true.
Yep. So I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of Island Tea this morning, and I do wish you well in your endeavors as you go out and encourage persons to become entrepreneurs and provide that safety net for them.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you. You guys did an awesome job.
Get ready for a week of innovation, inspiration, and endless opportunities. The Ministry of Small Business and Entrepreneurship proudly presents Global Entrepreneurship Week 2023 from November 13th to 17th. Mark your calendars. On November 13th, we kick off with a minister's address at 9 a.m., setting the stage for an extraordinary week ahead. But that's just the beginning. At 10 a.m., don't miss the Creative Currency panel discussion, live streamed. We're diving into entrepreneurial endeavors in music and entertainment. It's your backstage pass to the world of entertainment and entrepreneurship. November 14th brings a highlight you won't want to miss. The GEW Entrepreneurship Summit at the Kuna Conference Center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. featuring our renowned keynote speaker, Mr. Wendell Lawrence. We're not just focusing on the present, we're nurturing the future of entrepreneurship. On November 15th, we're launching the primary school essay competition. Young minds, it's your turn to shine. On November 16th, join us from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for a community business meeting in Sandy Point. It's your chance to make your voice heard and connect with fellow entrepreneurs. And finally, on November 17th, the week culminates with the Small Business Showcase Trade Fair in Independence Square from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Discover innovative small businesses and energy sector partners. Join us in building businesses that fuel innovation. Entrepreneurs thrive here. Save the dates, mark your calendars, and be part of this exciting week. Stay connected with us on our social media platforms for updates and live stream links.
Found the sound 98.9
Hey kids, drink healthy!
Reduce sugar chubby with the same great taste. Lots of magic fruity flavors, drink from more healthy way.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Be active, be healthy, drink lots of chubby. Kicking football, playing cricket, having fun in the sun.
It's chubby.
Reduced sugar chubby keeps you cool and refreshed.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Jumping rope, running races, have fun.
It tastes so yummy, chubby.
Drink the more healthy way.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams.
back, and we're here with Fireproof, and we're here with. He has a new position. He is the deputy. Tell us,
Acting
Timothy.
Deputy Fire Chief.
Yes, acting deputy fire chief, and so we're here with Mr. Martin. And Mr. Martin, we know that just recently there was a fire in Nevis, and during the break, as we spoke about topics for Fireproof today, you mentioned that being a topic. Could you expound?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, listening audience. Well, on the 31st of October, we received a call, the Charlestown Fire Services. They received a call shortly after 8 that night of an incident that was taking place at the Four Seasons, that incident being fire. So they responded on the property of the Four Seasons. There was a building that was adversely affected by this fire, which was the pro shop and the fitness center. So when the officers arrived, the fire, the building was already engulfed in flames, and they would have done their best to try to subside that fire. We had a responding team from the airport as well, the Vance Amri International Airport. So they were able to come to supplement the in terms of the media, in terms of suppressing that fire. So you had both stations heavily occupied regarding the extinguishment of that fire. In addition to the fire trucks, we know that there were two water tankers. Maybe during Juve and so you'd see some water tankers, doing the wet fet, etc., etc. They were very instrumental in assisting with that fire as well. They were able to provide volume of water to aid in the extinguishment of that fire. So I just want to reach out to those operators of those tankers and say thank you very much for assisting in that regard.
And I think there was an article that spoke as to the reason for the fire, but perhaps you want to touch that?
Well, that is under investigation.
We're still under investigation.
Yeah, the arson team between the police department and fire department, they went out and do an investigation to see if they can, reconstruct exactly what took place that night. So there isn't much I could say regarding that until an official report, comes out.
Okay. So the response you have mentioned, the response of the community and persons there, how active, because you're in St. Kitts, there's a fire in Nevis. Is there a communication between the station in Nevis with St. Kitts in a matter like that?
Well, normally an information will come within the chat to let, especially the persons in the high-ranking positions to know what's happening on either side of the island.
Yeah.
So that brings some awareness, and because of that awareness, I was able to get over to Nevis that night. Me and another counterpart, we were able to catch the water taxi to go over and to assist as best as possible in terms of that fire. When we arrived, there was fire in the building still, so you could see the magnitude of fire that was there. So to answer your question, yes, there is that collaboration in terms of persons in St. Kitts knowing what's happening over in Nevis and vice versa. If anything major happens in St. Kitts, then persons over at the Nevis end is also aware.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? The fire was in the Four Seasons, right?
Yes, it was.
Just a part of the Four Seasons. As an established, well-run organization, shouldn't they have procedures, persons on duties to prevent such a thing?
Well, they do have procedures in place in terms of
like a fire drill?
fire-related incident. We, the fire department, we have always partnered with them to give persons the relevant training in that regard. So, yes, you can have all the training. However, you have to understand that depending on the magnitude of the fire, you still have to rely on the fire department.
I'm not saying not to rely on the fire department, because when you came here, we were having a debate about the fire extinguisher. I not putting a fire extinguisher in my house in the front room, but I'm certain that for construction codes and for safety and everything, Four Seasons need to have fire extinguishers in different places and persons who are able to operate that. So for a catastrophe to happen at this magnitude, my question is, weren't there resources and persons trained to mitigate it from becoming such a catastrophe?
All right, so good question. So yes, there are plans and procedures that the Four Seasons have in place. And I should add that a fire extinguisher is just for small fires, so fires in its incipient stage, as we would say. So for a fire that is full-fledged burning, there is very little a fire extinguisher can do to suppress that fire. It is a small portable device operated by hand, so there is very little media inside of that. Depending on what is burning, depending on the type of material it is, you may be able to get a knockdown if you have a good enough fire, but these portable fire extinguishers are mainly used for small fires. Yes, so there were fire extinguishers present at the scene. However, the stage at which the fire was at the time, those extinguishers did very little to subside that fire.
Okay. So it was an awareness issue as well as all the other issues.
Well, it would bring some sort of awareness, but in terms of the involvement of that fire, it was an intense fire, because even after we arrived with our trucks, etc., it took some time in order for that fire to subside.
I get that it was an involved fire. I guess for me, what is scary is people are supposed to be patrolling the parameters, right? Because it's a place that houses people. Where were the eyes? That's it for me. So you talk about the grandness of the fire, but it didn't start grand.
Right, well, no, unless it's an explosion of some sort, and a fire
a
fire normally starts small. And then grows. Now, in relation to the eyes, etc., I cannot speak to that because I'm not a worker. I don't know what their patrols was like on that night, etc., etc. However, I would have received information that whenever they saw the fire, they called us.
Immediately.
They called us immediately, and we were able to jump into action.
And like
sadly,
that you went
sadly
to
though,
Mavis too.
Yeah, given the magnitude of that fire, and a boat was available, I used the opportunity to just jump on that boat to
really
get
like
over.
that. Did you get to come back home the night, or you had to sleep in the station?
I had to sleep in the station because we actually got back at base maybe sometime after 4 that morning. Yeah, so it was a very lengthy fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sleeping in Nevis on base. That's real service.
Nevis is nice, actually. Nevis is very nice.
Okay, I'm happy that you extended that service to jump on the boat and get there and be there with the firemen. You had on your battle suit?
Yes, I did.
You had
My bunker gear, as we would say. Yeah, our fire suit.
Okay. Put on your bunker gears, was on the front line,
Mhm.
and served with the team. That's very
Of course.
commendable. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so I just want to take this time to also commend the fire officers for the job that they would have put into that fire. The members of the Four Seasons, they also gave praise to the fire department for their involvement in that extinguishment. So we just want to say, let Four Seasons know that they always have our support. So whenever training is to be done, we are there to assist them at any time.
And I'm sure for a season, they should consider catering for the fireman party this Christmas, at least sending a dish or two, good collaboration.
But that would be wonderful, but I just want to highlight that the job we do, we do it because, it's a part of our duty. Not that we are expecting anything from persons, but if their heart desires to
bless the fire
yes,
station in
of
Nevis
course, it's
with a
welcome.
Christmas turkey or ham, well cooked. Don't send it uncooked, because some of them have to be on duty on Christmas Day, right? You're on duty on Christmas.
We're always on duty.
There you go.
Okay,
So-
9:40. We have a caller for Fireproof for the officer. Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, Lord, I give a chance, man, in the fire. We got a lot of questions to ask about the same Nevis, in the fire truck, And I want the fire officer explain to the Federation why Nevis ain't have a truck. And it's sounding so frightening. The fire in Nevis police got to catch the taxi to go Nevis. What happened to the unit over there? Something wrong. And we want truth, We want truth. Nevis section, well, the leader of the opposition is asking the Prime Minister to give an update on why the truck is not operating, the fire truck in Nevis. What happened to WINNMedia journalists, them? They don't listen. They don't listen over Nevis and hear what's going on. It's frightening, and the officer there must come and tell us what's going on with that truck, because that ain't so nice. Somebody fooling somebody. Have a good day. People defender.
Thank you, Carla, for that input. Now, I must say that the fire department in Nevis, they have a fire truck available. That is what they're using still, all right? So it's not a case that there wasn't any fire truck available. The fire truck was available. Given there are two trucks in Charlestown, however, one of them is under repairs. We all drive vehicles, and at some point in time, that vehicle is going to break down. You might need a part or two. So right now we are currently getting that issue with that larger fire truck sorted out, and as soon as that is sorted out, then things will be back as usual. Now there are times where we have to improvise, put things in place in order to restructure the way in which a unit might operate because of a particular vehicle going down. So we are putting those things, those measures in place. So to the caller, I just want to say that this notion that a fire truck was not available at the Charlestown fire station, that is absolutely incorrect. There was a fire appliance there. A fire appliance responded to the scene, and the guys and the officers, they did what they had to do in terms of getting that fire extinguished.
And the truck that is down is being serviced, and the matter is being rectified.
The matter is being rectified. Okay. In relation to the caller mentioning that persons had to come over from St. Kitts over to Nevis. Now, the unit in Nevis, it's there. We have persons on a shift daily all right? Fire officers who lived in Nevis, or who lives in Nevis, they also responded to the fire. We are in a case now, in an era now where we have boats on the water a lot longer. In years past, I would have never even got the opportunity to go over at after 8 in the night because
Carry
there
Queen
would not
done,
have been
4 o'clock
any
it done.
available boat. All right. But it's just a matter of given the magnitude of that fire, the nature of that fire. I thought it best that I would go over and lend my support to the officers over there.
Okay.
And that, for me, that has nothing to do with any rank or anything. That's just who I am. I remember years back when they had the fire by the Hosford fire. Roles were reversed. I was working in Nevis. And had there been an opportunity where boats were available, I would have come down the same way to actually partake in extinguishing that fire. So it's just dedication on a whole. It goes, just loving the job, loving what you do, and putting the energy into that. So nothing is wrong with the unit in Nevis. Just that given the magnitude of the fire, persons, you would want more hands on deck to get a fire done and get the job done. If there is an aircraft, for example, let's say if one of those big birds come down.
God forbid.
God forbid, right. We of course, persons from any station, whether they're on or off, would want to go to assist with such fire. So it doesn't mean that the personnel who are stationed at the airport, it is not adequate, However, persons would want to go in and get into that mode of attacking that fire, especially at that magnitude.
It's like if something happened at Pogson's Hospital, nurses in the community and doctors from JNF are going to go on to support their colleagues and attend to the matter.
Of course, same thing applies.
Okay. All right. So anything else interesting you want to share with us, Mr. Fireman?
Well, I just want to basically, share with the general public how important it is to keep to be fire safety conscious. You never could tell when a fire might destroy your whatever it is you have built over the years.
We have a caller.
Yes. So it is important to take the precautionary measures, have a plan in place, so that you could lessen any effects from the fire, have fire extinguishers, have smoke detectors. Just be overall prepared in the event that you may have a fire.
Okay. Hello, caller. Welcome to...
Yes, me again. Assistant Deputy, we want to know how much officers worked on the Nevis end and how much be and cost when they're working on duty. Because a lot of things ain't so right, with the fire. I hear in the Nevis people them complaining and some programs over there. It sounds troubling. It sounds troubling. So tell me something. You as this deputy fire chief, you ain't got somebody in the rank who capable enough to handle over there. I listen now for you.
All right, so the person who heads the Nevis division, they were unseen as well. They were there from the inception of, whenever they got the call, they would have made their way to the Four Seasons. So there was that support from the head of the Nevis division. All right. In relation to the personnels on the ground, we have from the Nevis end, it might be a total of I don't want to. I would have to go and back check the exact figures. However, in terms of the shift, we normally have 5 persons, sometimes maybe 4 on that shift. So I would have to go back and check the records to see exactly who was on duty on that day. I don't have that information with me right now.
How old you have to be a volunteer firefighter? What's the age limit?
Well, volunteering starts from 18.
What's the cap?
The cap, well, to be a firefighter, there is a cap. All right? To be a firefighter, it's from 18 to 35.
Mhm.
But you can be over 35 and be a volunteer officer.
I think I want to be. I want to work in the communications department on the Facebook. No, like seriously, I think y'all. I mean, you could like give me, like a fire hat to work the computer. I would gladly accept that. Tell everybody I was a fire officer volunteer. But I think because even for me, it's only sitting in the chair across from you that I'm ever paying attention to fire. So I'm an educator, so I'm responsible for young minds. Don't know nothing about fire, don't know nothing about nothing, sitting in Nevis, don't know, ain't my business. And I'm not saying that is a good thing. I'm saying that a lot of us are ignorant. Like myself, I'm using myself as an example. And it's not until we are confronted with the information, especially like the .com or on the Facebook, that we are able to learn. I think it's very important. It's very, very important. But the ministry, the minister, the department needs support in terms of communication and campaign communication consistently. You are doing an excellent job, but it's so much information.
It's a lot of information to be had.
And the information needs to be with the public or accessible to the public. Because, honest to God, if I fire in my house, I run in. Me ain't going for the pipe. Me ain't on an extinguisher. I run in. Like, that is like a fire might burn me, so, like, you burn the house. So I think a real communication officer needs to be assigned to the fire department. They could share St. Kitts and Nevis, or Nevis could have its own, but that's an opportunity to create job and to keep the public safe. You're doing a brilliant job, but there's an opportunity to keep the public safe by doing more.
And I agree with you. Our Facebook page, it needs some additional work on it, and we are seeking to get that a part of, the disseminating information to the general public, and for the public to know exactly what we are about, what we do on a daily basis.
And how not to run from the fire in my house.
Exactly.
And to get that fire extinguisher.
And to get that fire extinguisher now.
The importance of it being probably in the living room.
Yes, in the living room, actually, We're going to encourage you to get it right there, just in case.
Just in case? And not run.
And not run.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much, and do have a blessed weekend. In fact, everyone, thank you for listening to us. It's been a good week, a long week, and as we gear up for the weekend, and as we get in preparation for Monday as well, because we have to prepare for Monday. I want to say have a safe weekend, and if it's God's willing, we'll be here on Monday, same time.
Same time.
place.
Same place. Enjoy your tea, and thank you, WINNFM, the beautiful listeners, and Mr. Fireman. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.